All right. Didn't say we were live at first, but now it does. So good. What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Dark Avenger Comic Book Review, the show where each and every episode I talk about the books I read in the previous week. And this week, which is for the week of March 18th, 2020, I did not count how many books I had. So I have a lot of books. We have a lot of books to discuss. And we have Argo 5 once again leading the charge. But before we get into the books, as you all can see, this is once again another live stream instead of my normal video recording that I then premiere. That is because a lot of crazy stuff is going on in the world today. And again, that's why I'm taking the time out right now, as everything is going on right now. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the comic book realm as well. Tonight, I'm recording this right now. We're live on Tuesday. Tonight, Comic Book Weekly will be live on Comic Frontline. We're going to be talking about how certain things are being impacted by what's going on in the world, the coronavirus, people not being in work, people not going to work, lockdowns. And it's definitely impacting everyone here. So the thing is, as always, everybody, if you don't have to go out, don't go out. I mean, they're talking about it. Practice social distancing for now. If you have to go out to work, you have to go out to work, but try to take care. If you feel like you have any of the symptoms, definitely get tested. Stay away from everyone if you feel like you do. And I believe we're going to get through this. It's just, it's a day-to-day, basis right now. And I've heard projections of anywhere from 2 to 9 months, 9 months being December of this year, basically taking us to the end of 2020. And that's a scary thought, to know that basically the entire year, because of this virus, is up in the air. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But everybody, please take care. Don't hoard. Still, I'm going to stick with that for a little while longer. Don't hoard stuff. As every mayor and governor has said, the stuff will be there in the grocery stores. They're not going to go missing. And just take care of yourselves. Each and every one of you, please take care of yourselves. And with that being said, as always, if you'd like to check anything out from myself, you can check out shootingstaruniverse.com. That is where everything I do is posted, from social media to YouTube to Dark Avenger Gaming on Twitch to exclusive written posts. I am actually working on a few projects right now. I don't want to go into too much detail. I am going to make some posts about things that are going to be going on. And in this time right now of where everyone's home and people are looking for entertainment, look for more live shows from myself, from Dark Avenger Gaming. I'm working on doing a couple of shows to entertain everybody while you all are home. So if you like watching video games, you like gaming, go check out Dark Avenger Gaming. I am working on a few ideas while everybody's at home, so we could all get together, talk, and have a good time video games. But I'm also working on, I get an itchy nose whenever I do these shows. I don't understand why. I am working on a few shows to do over here on Dark Avenger C86. Dark Avenger Live will be back this Friday, fingers crossed. And I am working on a few other things. I might leave the comic review live for now, so this way we can all get together and talk about our comics. There's a lot of really interesting books to talk about today, a lot of number ones. I'm looking right now, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 number ones that are in this review alone this week. And that's awesome. So there's a lot to talk about. So hopefully, we'll see what happens, but I'm working on some fun live stuff. And then also, if you are if you're on Facebook, check out the Dark Avenger Nation group. That is where myself and everyone in the Dark Avenger Nation gets together. We talk about stuff in the comic realm. I share all the stuff that I'm doing on YouTube. I actually am picking up books physically again, a couple of extra ones. Now what's going on, we'll see how that goes. But for the time being, at least until what's going on in the world happens, I should still be getting deliveries for a little while longer, and then everything goes on pause. We'll see. But if you're interested, definitely come over, come talk comic books with the rest of us. I am working on really expanding the group, and I've wasted a lot of time with this intro. So let's get into the books from this week. Well, this episode, because the first book we're talking about is Argo 5, issue number 34, the second part to this 3-part epic. Last issue, Blue Dynamo got kidnapped. This issue, Argo 5 jumps into a spaceship and goes to find their long-lost buddy. This was an excellent issue. I believe there were 2 artists in this book. I could be right. I could be wrong. I don't remember. I know one book had 2 artists, and Dan released a lot of Argo 5 recently, so you have a lot of Argo 5 goodness. That's all I'm going to say. They go off into space. They chase after Blue Dynamo. They figure out where they're going. There's an awesome fight between them and a space worm. They end up infiltrating the city where Blue Dynamo is. They find out about where he is and why he was captured from other aliens. And as they're in the city, though, one by one, they get taken out. And I don't want to spoil how each of them gets taken out, but I love how we get a little bit of each character and how each one of them gets captured. This alien race could be, what's the word I'm looking for here? It looks like they're Argo 5's Achilles heel, because each and every one of them gets taken out in one way or another. And that's where the book's left off. The last one to be captured is Gladiatra. And now what? They're all prisoners, and they're all going to be sentenced to death after being questioned. The end of part 2 of 3. Dan, you did an amazing job with this first 3-parter from Argo 5. I have to say for sure I'm looking forward to the next 3-part epic. I am glad also that part 35 or issue 35 is out there. What's going on, Dark Knight? He says, hey, dude, what's up? What's going on, Dark Knight? Oh, God, Dark Knight. Sorry, Black Knight. You're not Batman. You're the Black Knight. I apologize. So what's going on, Black Knight? How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. You're safe and everything. Argo 5 is a series I love. Each and every time the issue comes out, each and every time there's a new book, I am on top of it. It's amazing. If you haven't checked out Argo 5 yet, where have you been? IndiePlanet.com, ArgoComics.com. That's ARGOCOMICS.com. Check out Argo 5. It's a worthy read. And there's other books on there like Sorority of Power. You've got the Argo Anthology. You've got Death Squad. You've got a bunch of books. There's Law and Order. There's 2 one-shots. You got Pickle Man Boy. I don't remember. It was a convention exclusive. I can't remember. I think it was Pickle Man. I believe it was Pickle Man. The Cindy loved that book, and I loved it too, but Cindy absolutely loved it. But check out Dan's books. They're really awesome, and why not? In a time right now where we're home, this is your perfect chance to catch up on all the issues of Argo 5. I'm sorry if you hear banging. There's actually a little bit of construction going on in the house today downstairs. So if you hear banging, it's not me, but it's happening. So Argo 5, check them out. Starship Down issue number 1. I was actually pleasantly surprised. The name of the book is what caught my eye first. And then I checked out the first couple of pages. Whenever a new issue comes out, I always like to check out the first couple of pages, see if I like the artwork, see if the story looks interesting. And then if it is, I continue. If it isn't, I don't read it and I don't talk about it. Starship Down actually grabbed my interest. A lot of this book was setting up what's going on. So there was a discovery, and this person who is a scientist is being brought in, and she's put under an NDA, and not just any NDA. It's like, you break this, you will be considered a traitor to your country, yada, yada. And she doesn't understand. She's like, what did you find? It's just cave drawings and stuff. And they're like, yeah, we found cave drawings talking about extraterrestrials and whatnot, but we found something more. And as they're landing, she gets introduced to several different people who are going to be on her team. As a matter of fact, the Cardinal ends up showing up at some point, and her and him don't get along because she doesn't believe in religion because she believes in cold hard facts. So a lot of it is setting up what's happening next. So we finally find out what they've seen, and this is right before the Cardinal shows up. We find out that they found an actual extraterrestrial spaceship buried in the ice. And then she gets introduced to more people, and then they finally go into the ship at the end of the issue, and we find out that whatever the ship was doing, they were abducting Neanderthals, because the Neanderthals are actually still in the life pods. The life pods are broken into, but they were being abducted. Where did the ship come from? What was their mission? What were they doing? I'm actually very interested in this. I think it's a miniseries, So I'm really interested in seeing where this goes. This took me by surprise, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Red Mother issue number 4. Now, I forgot to put Red Mother in my, I think it was the second review back where Red Mother issue 3 came out. So Red Mother issue 4, I love the first 3 issues. I read, I think, issue 1, 2, and 3 together. Mike Spider Slayer was recommending it. I skipped the first issue because I wasn't really a fan of what I was seeing at the beginning. But after reading the 3 issues, I definitely was on board. So in this issue, she meets with a man who sent her a puzzle in the previous issue. She solved it. She got his phone number. She calls him. He wants to work with her. He has this massive project, and he thinks that she is going to be perfect to work on it with him. She, of course, accepts. And what's going on throughout this entire book is she got into something happened to her at the beginning of the series, and it caused her to lose her eye. And she got a replacement eye, and slowly random, really dark things started happening. She started seeing hallucinations. Her eyes started to see red, and then this demon-like creature looked like it was chasing after her in a previous issue. Her boyfriend went missing during this, whatever happened in the first issue where she lost her eye. So she's still looking for her boyfriend. And in this issue, she actually goes to the police and says, did anything else develop? And of course, nothing developed yet. And we find there's this old lady that's been stalking her a little bit. And in this issue, she's like, the mother is looking for you. You can see the mother. And at the very end of this issue, she gets surrounded by people who look like, I don't know if they're a cult or whatever, but they're surrounding her. And the demon that was chasing her in previous issues comes out of this locked building. And we don't know what's going to happen next. But in every issue, we see a little bit more of the mother develop. In the very beginning of the series, it was hardly anything. Now 4 issues in, it's literally almost a whole person. So I've really been enjoying Red Mother. I didn't expect to be enjoying it as much as I am, but I truly am. And I'm sticking with it for sure. This is what, okay, we're going to talk about this on Comic Frontline, but you mentioned it, Black Knight. So with Diamond not distributing books, will you do back issue reviews? Have you ever done a video of where you show up your whole collection? From what I'm hearing, Black Knight, number one, Comixology might still be going on. So we might still be getting our books digitally, which will impact physical. In my opinion, it will impact physical medium. I would rather everything be on pause. See, but here's the thing. I don't want to say I'd rather everything be put on pause because, again, the numbers or the amount of time between now and when all this is going to be over and we'll be able to get back to life as normal or as normal as possible is anywhere from 2 to 9 months. So to say I don't want physical, and I want them to wait till physical and digital could be together, that could be 9 months. 9 months of no new comics. So I'm hoping that this all resolves sooner rather than later. So this way we can get back to a norm even with the comics. I will not be doing back issue reviews. I've done a few. I might do some trade reviews, which I guess are considered back issues, right? So I might do some trade reviews. The actual review show, though, this show will probably be on pause until the newer books start coming out again. If digital is still coming out, I'll still be doing this review, continuing on reviews as usual, not life, but reviews as usual. But no, I won't change this review show into a back issue. I'll probably do some trade reviews here and there to keep up with the channel, to keep the channel active. I'll still be doing the Dark Avenger live shows. But no, I won't change this to a back issue show. Let's hope that new issues continue to come out each and every week. I'm worried because if we get really far behind on the physical medium compared to how much, if we keep books coming out digitally and let's say 4 months down the road, there's 4 months worth of books that are being released at once, that's going to be a lot of money and a lot of people aren't going to buy. And I'm like Mike Spider Slayer. If comic books were to go all digital tomorrow, I wouldn't be buying them anymore. I wouldn't buy the single issues anymore. I just wait for the trades of the books I really like and get the trades. I am a physical medium person. I love physical comics. I know it takes up room. I've had this debate on and off with people for years. I know it takes up a lot of room, but I love my comics. I only buy physical issues of the books I really like. I trade the books that I'm 50-50 on in the beginning, and then I really like at the end. And as far as books I don't like, I keep them digital now, so they don't take up room. I always try to start on a digital format, also working in press. I do sometimes get press issues, so it helps out a little bit also with me deciding if I'm going to get a physical medium or not. But yeah, no, I'm hoping that things just stay as usual. Let's just hope that things work themselves out in the next couple of months. And as far as doing a video of my whole collection, there's a lot of boxes you want to see them, Black Knight, because we're talking, I'm converting my books into long boxes as we speak. I already have 6 long boxes filled from side to side, and I still need at least another 6 to 12 to fully move my entire collection into long boxes, because I started collecting in regular boxes and I want to move them over. So I don't think I'll ever do a full collection, but maybe if I ever do what Mike Spider Slayer did, where he was organizing his books, I might organize my books and do a video while I'm organizing them. Like, this is my whole X-Men collection. This is my whole Superman collection. This is my whole that collection. But at the current time, I'm not looking to do one. But it's definitely open. I'm open for doing that in the future. And again, back issues, I will probably do some trade reviews if they stop doing new stuff. I'm hoping that we continue to get new stuff, because if this goes on for 9 months, could you imagine 9 months, no books at all? I don't think the comic companies will do that. I think we'll still get them through Comixology. I think DCBS will still have them up to order, but you won't be able to get them until they get to the printers. And of course, you know, when they do start printing again, it's going to take a while to get all those books out. But as long as they keep charging us month to month, I don't think it'll be bad. But if they wait and charge us an entire 3 months worth at once, for people like me, that's not going to hurt too bad. But for people that buy 20, 40, 60 books a month, imagine 4 months worth of that. That's going to hurt. I'm a physical guy too. I have boxes everywhere. Exactly. I can't. I love my physical books. And if anything, I still have to share my haul from Midtown this week. But I ended up finding, we'll talk about this when I get into Spider-Woman issue #1, but I actually got, in my Midtown order, I ordered the regular cover and a few variants. I actually got lucky, and I found out that if you order a regular cover, you have a chance at getting the secret surprise variant. I ended up getting the secret surprise variant. I was a little taken back at first. It's basically Spider-Woman in a Spider-Man costume. I was taken back. I'm like, did I get something I shouldn't have gotten? And then we found out about the super secret variant. And I was like, wow, I got lucky. And again, it's one of those things where if it was digital, the impact of getting a really cool surprise variant is leaps and bounds different physically than digitally. And I love it. And I love the physical medium. So let's keep our fingers crossed. And that was a lot of time on this. Let's get back into the books. Justice League issue #43. Oh, the final fight between the Justice League and the Eradicator. And let's just say the Eradicator loses his head. Yes, he does. So as him and his Daxamite army are failing epically, he decides, okay, this isn't going to work. So he literally tries to execute every single one of his soldiers. And of course, the Justice League stop him and they put him down once and for all. And when I say he lost his head, I'm saying Wonder Woman decapitated that man robot thing. And to be honest, I did not like this version of the Eradicator anyway. So I'm happy we got rid of this version of the Eradicator. The Eradicator went through many different looks and changes and ways through the years. I hope if we get the Eradicator back, we get either one that's closer to Eradicator Superman, or we get one that's a little bit less, looks like he fell into a tar pit, kind of like Terminator style Eradicator, because I didn't care for this. And also less robotic. I liked when the Eradicator was a little bit more human than robot. So again, this version of the Eradicator I was not a fan of compared to previous. But the Justice League one, the Daxamites are taken, or the Daxamite clones are being taken with Sodom Yat back to his planet, where they will live with him and the other Daxamites and live in solitude away from society, so they don't impact anyone, nobody impacts them, and everybody's happy. This was an excellent book, an excellent story. I'm looking forward to the next story. Unfortunately, after the next story, the team for Justice League is changing again, and I'm kind of sad because I liked this first story by Rob Venditti, and I'm kind of sad that they only gave him 2 stories, and now he's moving on. Either they're moving him to a different book, or they want to try a new team on Justice League. For about 39 issues, Justice League was a chore to read. From issue 40 to 43, this has been an enjoyment again, and I'm hoping that we're getting another arc with Rob Venditti. I'm hoping it continues, and I'm hoping that we continue on even further when the newer teams come on board. So fingers crossed. Valkyrie Jane Foster, issue number 9. I was this close to missing this book. I didn't realize it was in my list. Again, physical books, I would have known that because I go through all my books physically. But when it comes to digital stuff, I literally just didn't even realize it was there until I saw a list of the books that came out, and I had to jump in and read it as quick as I could. Thor is now under the control of this black magic, this black root, or whatever it is. So it takes Jane focusing all of her power to fight Thor and then destroy what was left on Earth. It destroys all the demons. It destroys everything, but it takes all of the power out of her. And we find out who set the whole thing up to begin with. I cannot pronounce the name, Tyr, Tyre, or whatever his name is. And he did all this because he wanted to take the Valkyrie weapon away from Jane, because he's curious about this thing that's locked away behind a door. What's up, Tevia? And he takes her weapon. He breaks the door. Long story short, he breaks the door down. Loki shows up briefly and then gets whisked away. And he somehow still has control over Thor, Tyre, by the way. He breaks through the door, and now he's released this. I forgot the name of what it was, but he releases it. And now it'll obey him, anything he wants, as long as he's holding the Valkyrie weapon. If he ever was to drop the Valkyrie weapon or lose it, that would be very bad for him. So I love how he realizes that his life, as he's released this thing that he wanted to, he's actually created more of a nightmare for himself than an actual release of this entity to give him power. Jane Foster has been amazing. The only thing is it doesn't coincide with Thor that much, because the Thor in this book is the one that's missing his arm and has the eye patch still, as opposed to the Thor that we're reading in Thor right now, which has both of his arms and his eye. So I guess different time periods. Again, we always point a finger at Discord. Discord. Yeah, we already talked about that, Tevia. We always point a finger at DC Comics when they do something that the timelines don't match up. So I feel it's important to point a finger at Marvel when they're doing the exact same thing. So yes, Tevia, we already talked about that. You'll have to watch the show back. Black Knight mentioned it a little while back. Literally, you came in as I was finishing that and jumping into a book. So you'll have to go back. I'm not going to go over it all again. I'll give you the Cliff Notes. I'm worried about it. I'm hoping that they come back sooner rather than later. I don't want the comic industry to be 100% digital and then trades. I probably will not buy comics anymore if they're single issue digital. We'll be talking way more about this on Comic Book Weekly tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern on Comic Frontline. I said a lot towards this, but we're going to have a lot more to talk about and discuss back and forth on Comic Book Weekly. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers TMNT issue number 4. The Turtles become Rangers. The Rangers become ninjas. The Rangers go and save Tommy. The Turtles go and fight against the Foot Clan as what do you call it, as Turtle Rangers. I loved it. I love the morph. I love the way the turtles look in the outfits. I love the whole 9 yards. And then you have the Rangers. They save Tommy. Tommy ends up showing his red. See, this is what they're doing, because it turns out they were screwing with the Foot Clan. Between Rita and Shredder, they made these like hybrid putties, Foot Clan putties. And he's like, see, they don't care about you. You're going to be in trouble. And he's like, okay, fine. And they end up leaving together. And then you find out that the Rangers still don't have control over their coins, over their powers yet. And what do you call it? And no, it's not, Tabby. I disagree. And you have the Rangers are like, you have Bebop and Rocksteady, who are now gigantic monsters. So the Turtles have to pilot the Megazord now as well. And of course, Donatello is flipping out because he's a huge tech junkie. And the book kind of ends with the Megazord being formed, and they're about to go one-on-two with Bebop and Rocksteady. I'm looking forward to seeing where this last issue goes. The next issue is going to be awesome. You're looking for, okay, the physical medium. Got you, Tevia. This has been an amazing crossover. I've been enjoying it a lot. X-Force issue 9. Now, if you remember in the last issue, Domino made Colossus promise that when she was brought back, she'd have all the pain and all the memories. For some reason, in this book, she doesn't have the pain of her past. And that's weird, because Colossus promised. So what happened? Or was it just the resurrection process? We don't know, but we know that X-Force now has a mission, and Jean doesn't really feel too happy about being on X-Force, and she kind of says that to Cyclops a little bit, that she's in between the lines now of, right and wrong. She's seeing a lot more than she saw before. And so X-Force goes on a mission. It's Wolverine, Kid Omega, and Domino. And Wolverine is starting to say, Domino, you were never broke. You see that he has that concern. He's starting to question a lot. And that's good that there are people starting to question Krakoa and the resurrections and everything. Because he's like, you were never broken, so how you're not really fixed. There was nothing to fix, because him and Domino are talking about how she has her memories, but it doesn't hurt her as much anymore. And it's weird. And this is all obviously culminating and building up to what we're going to get at the end of the year, I hope. And they end up being put on a mission. They go through Krakoa. Oh, wow. They try to go through Krakoa's portal, but they can't. There's something on the other end. It turns out there's another plant on a different part of the world that actually attacked and killed everyone in this remote town. And at first they think it's a plant. And then there's also stuff going on with, oh my God, Adam Wizard. Oh, I need to know his name now, or else I'm not going to be happy. I do love the cover art for X-Force. I will say that. Really good stuff. Wait, maybe it says it right at the beginning. Probably does, because there's a key. Why'd they put Gorgeous George at the front? Oh, because probably he was in that one part. No, I was wrong. Black Tom, thank you. Black Tom is having nightmares or whatever, and Beast is now in the command center because Jean is taking a break. So Beast is talking with them, and he knows that Black Tom can help, so he goes to Black Tom for help. And we find out Kid Omega is running from the place where him and X-Force walked in, and it turns out that the plant is not a being, it's a god. And that's where the book kind of ends, with X-Force entangled with this god. This book has been amazing. I love the artwork. The cover art's amazing. The stories are really strong, and it's one of my favorite new books out of the X part of the Marvel universe right now. Batman 91. The Designer attacks. Well, Batman fights with Deathstroke, and Deathstroke apparently knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne, because Batman yells at him and says, "You know me, you know it all. You know me. You don't pretend like you don't. It started in an alley, and you know how I am and whatnot. So stop and just help me stop the Designer, because he's looking to destroy Gotham. A lot of innocent people are going to be hurt. Of course, he doesn't listen at first. Catwoman Harley have a second team up, which was really awesome. And it involved, and the designer went after them once again. And again, Punchline is nowhere to be seen. We saw her for one panel on issue 89, and I love how Batman is still selling out because everybody's waiting. The next time we see her is going to be in Nightwing, and I believe Nightwing. Yeah, Nightwing 72, I think. And I'm pre-ordering that in advance so I don't have to worry about anything. But things don't go right by the end of the issue. The designer apparently has teamed up with someone. I love how the book actually opens up, because remember, the Joker Wars are coming. So it actually opens up with the Joker talking about the designer and kind of recapping what we already read in previous issues, that, you know, this guy came in, he wanted to give everyone what they always wanted, what they always dreamed about. And then it came to the clown who said basically he wanted everything and he was going to take the designer's place, and it was crazy. I liked the beginning a lot. I thought it was really good. I am waiting for Nightwing to get his memory back. You might be getting it soon, Tevia. So I love the opening with Joker. I love the middle fight. And then it ends with the designers actually teaming up with the Riddler. And wow, and why? I'm wondering why all of a sudden the Riddler is back on the designer's good side. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But I believe we have one or two more issues of this arc, and then we're going into the Joker War. And I'm really looking forward to the Joker Wars. It's really setting up to be something huge. Let's talk about the road to the Joker Wars, because Nightwing issue number 70 came out this week. And this is the first road to the Joker Wars that's out. And everybody ate this book up because they were thinking, because in the description there was the word Punchline. Punchline is not in this issue. We get a debut of a costume, which I'm calling the Segway costume. This is the Segway costume between Rick Grayson and Nightwing's return, because Rick now, after that whole previous arc, and he summed it up really good for the readers, fought the Talons, found out that a psychologist was doing everything she was doing to him, forcing him to not want to know his past, not want to know anything, forcing it so deep within him that he became Rick Grayson instead of Dick Grayson, because they wanted him to become a Talon, which he was always meant to be as the Gray Son. And he won his fight against them, but now he's fighting to try to get his actual memories back, because he has a ton of voices in his head. And I believe it's actually Dick trying to come back out in Rick Grayson. And I like that. What's going on, Jordan? Welcome to the stream. And I like that about Nightwing. I like that now he's fighting to get his memories back, but he doesn't know how yet. And then you have the Joker, who's also shown up in Bloodhaven, and he wants to know why there are 5 Nightwings and none of them are the actual Nightwing. And he actually takes out the leader of the Nightwings and wants to know where the actual Nightwing is. And then you've got Dick, who's struggling with headaches. And like I said, he's very conflicted within his own mind. And he has this crystal that's apparently the key to unlocking his memories, possibly. And he's like, one minute he hears this name, Barbara Gordon. He's like, somebody he knows from his past, somebody he trusts. And then the next minute it's like a total stranger, and he can't trust strangers. So I like how slowly we're getting Dick back. And I think through the Joker War, we might get our Nightwing back. I think that's going to be one of the things that happens throughout the Joker War, is Rick Grayson will slowly become Dick Grayson again, and we'll get the actual Nightwing back. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. However, for the hype that this book got and how it sold out ridiculously fast because everybody thought Punchline was in it, surprise, I think this book will go back to cover price almost immediately once everybody realizes there's no Punchline in it. We'll talk about that. No, we can't, Tavia, because that's the past and we're moving on into the future. DCeased Unkillables issue number 2. All right. I've had it. I love this book so much that I actually decided to pull the trigger and get this physically. I got issue 1 and 2 together. And hopefully if issue 3 is still printed, I will be getting issue 3 when it comes out next month because I think this is awesome. And now we find out that this is a segue between DCeased 1 and DCeased 2, which is hopefully still coming out soon. And this issue, a lot of people ended up, what do you call it? A lot of people ended up getting infected. So you had Bane and a few others that was trapped in the Mirrorverse who come out and team up with Red Hood. Oh, wow. Batgirl, the Batgirl in this world, and Jim Gordon. And they're all there. They have the kids. They're training them. They're getting them prepared for what's to come. And then we find out the Mirror Master goes back because Wonder Woman ends up breaking into the Mirrorverse. And that's one of the reasons why they escaped back to where Red Hood was. He goes back for Captain Cold. And it turns out that Captain Cold got turned by Wonder Woman. They turned Mirror Master. And now Mirror Master attacks the school. And one of the big guys ends up getting infected. And it's Bane. No surprise. And he breaks the wall that's been protecting the school down and is now letting all of the infected in. And now it's to be concluded. There's some really nice character development in this book as the villains train the children, as they take care of the children. I really liked it. It really brought some light to each and every one of the characters, like Cheetah, for example. And yes, Cassandra Cain. Cassandra's Batgirl. And it gives each of the characters a little bit of heart, I feel. And I'm excited to see how this series ends and what it's going to tease for DCeased 2. Again, this is why I got it physically, because I got DCeased 1 physically. I'm going to be getting DCeased 2 physically. I had to get the segue. Had to get the segue. Really good stuff. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this book because, like the Spider-Man in the Marvel gaming verse, we have Marvel Avengers Captain America #1. What is this book? This series is going to be introducing a one-shot of each of the Avengers. So Marvel Avengers, Captain America is first. Black Widow is next week. And then we also have Hulk, Thor, Iron Man. We're going to get all of the Avengers that are in the gameverse because in September, God willing, the Avengers game is going to be coming out for PlayStation. And like they did with the Spider-Man gamerverse, they want to set up the Avengers gamerverse instead of waiting for the Avengers game to come out and then giving us a bunch of the one-shots then. So instead of being a post, they're doing a pre. And I loved it. This introduced Captain America in the gamerverse. It gives a little bit of gives you a background on Captain America again. He ends up fighting. There's one fight between him and I forgot the person's name he was fighting against. A little bit of a mix of the Avengers, and then that's it. It's a nice standalone one-shot for the Captain America of the Marvel Avengers in the gamingverse. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. Basically, it is a prequel series, Tebby, yes. It's a prequel with each one of the Avengers that are going to be in the game. And I liked it. I thought it was good artwork, good story setup. Is it important to read? Is it important for you to read? That's up to you. If you're buying the Avengers game and you like buying books that are, setups for your games, this might be something you want. I got it physically. I'm going to get the whole one-shot series physically because I am getting the Avenger game, and I thought this was a great first issue, and I like the little setup for the Avengerverse. They do it for their movies. They're doing it for their video games now, and I'm really excited for the Avenger game. I'm really excited to see what they give us in the Avenger game. I mean, the teasers and what we've been seeing is spectacular. I'm at the edge of my seat waiting for this game to come out. I like that they're giving us a little prequel one-shots. So something to check out if you're interested. If you're not interested, it doesn't impact the main Marvel universe in any way. Star Wars issue #4. Luke is looking for his lightsaber. Leia is captured. Lando is this close to being captured, but he finds a way to escape. He tries to get Luke's help. Luke can't help him at the moment because he's trying to find his lightsaber. Luke uses the Force to try to find the lightsaber and instead gains clarity and learns that Leia has been captured. So he says, you know what? If I never see the lightsaber again, whatever. At this point, I have to go save Leia. So he meets up with Lando. They find out that Leia was locked in carbonite. And guess what? We learn how to undo the carbonite. You just spin a dial and push a button. And that's what Luke does using the Force. He spins a dial and pushes a button and releases every single prisoner, including Leia. and then takes every single stormtrooper's gun away and gives it to the prisoners. And yeah, they end up escaping easily. And Luke gets his X-Wing back, as a matter of fact, as well. At the end of the book, we find out they find Luke's lightsaber. The I forget what they're called, the ones that work in the garbage disposal, but they find his lightsaber. Will they ever give it back to him? Probably, because we did see it in as Ben Solo's lightsaber. So I'm sure we're going to see him get it back at some point, but I'm really excited. And I might actually get the single issues from the next point on, from next issue on, because this is going to probably be the journey, because Luke had a vision about this other Jedi calling to him. This might be Luke's journey to getting the yellow lightsaber, and I really want to have that issue physically, especially because I'm interested in seeing why yellow and how that happens. And obviously it's a segue between the blue lightsaber he lost and the green one that he's going to make in episode 3. So something to look into. All right, let's talk event. This event got me mad. Outlawed issue number 1. Now, it didn't get me mad, oh, I hate this miniseries. If I was a teen superhero in the Marvel Universe and there was a law put in place now, this gives me Civil War vibes. It's not like Civil War. It's not like you have to be registered and everybody has to know who you are. This is now a law because the champions were fighting this dragon and everything went wrong. Kamala went missing, and a child got hurt, and they didn't handle the situation correctly, and something happens to Vision's daughter. I won't spoil what. But basically, they set a law into motion now where you cannot be a superhero. You cannot be a hero/vigilante until you're 21 unless being sponsored. And we find that out in a different book. But basically, they are outlawing teen superheroes. You have to be an adult in the Marvel Universe to be a superhero. If you are under the age of 21, it is illegal. They set up this whole operation called Cradle where they take apart the champions. They arrest certain teens who are being superheroes. They reach out to families of young superheroes to warn them. And it's crazy how this all goes into effect. And it's not Civil War, Tevia. It's more along the lines of they don't want teen superheroes. And I will say this. I echo how Spider-Gwen feels, or Ghost Spider. However, I'm not reviewing that book in this review. That is going to be my exclusive discuss on Comic Frontline. It is connected to Outlawed. I did get it physically as well. I will probably be getting everything connected to Outlawed, but I am angry for the teen superheroes in the Marvel Universe. I didn't think any universe could be as stupid as the Marvel Universe as far as the legislator in Marvel Universe. You think the Marvel Universe would have learned from Civil War 1 and 2, but no, they have to do this now with the teens. And again, it's so crazy because reading this book, it's like if this was reality, I see this actually happening in our world somehow. People saying, yes, it's abusive to have kids as superheroes. Yeah, it's child abuse. And it's like, really? If this was the DC universe, the Teen Titans would be laughing their asses off right now. I mean, legit. Batman has had so many kid sidekicks. The Teen Titans, so many teenagers. Young Justice. Yeah, the DC universe would laugh that even the thought of a law like that right out of the universe. And that's what makes DC and Marvel so unique. Marvel feels like when something bad happens, they got to throw a law out that bans or demands registration. DC, shit goes down. Hey, happens sometimes, and they just move on. Life moves on. Outlawed, I feel mad for all the teen superheroes, and I'm excited to see what happens next. But man, it's going to be frustrating to read because I don't agree with the law that they made. And Kamala actually is hurt, and they're looking to find Miss Marvel, and she's nowhere to be found. So it's like, it's wow. I'm looking forward to seeing if this is going to stay in effect or we're going to get this miniseries and then it's going to kind of like break away because we're getting a new Champions book. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm interested. I'm really super interested. Speaking of Robin 80th anniversary. I loved this book. You had Dick Grayson, the night he decided that he has to stop being, he can't be Robin anymore. He's a man now. He wants to get out of the Robin suit and be his own person and leaves Batman. We have a Nightwing story, which is the Robin story was done by the artist who did Robin back in the Teen Titan days. And then you had the Nightwing story that was actually done by the Nightwing artist from the first volume of Nightwing. And then after that, we had a Grayson story, which was, I'm not going to lie, I skimmed it because I really never liked Grayson. I know they made a whole omnibus. You can have the whole collection if you're a Nightwing purist and you have to have the whole series of Dick Grayson. I'm not, so I won't. So I skipped the Grayson story. I really wasn't interested. You had a small story with Tim. You had a story with Damian and Bruce dealing with Alfred's death and father and son. I love that. There was a really nice Tim story in there, connecting him back to his Teen Titans / Young Justice days, and I like that. There was I forgot the other Robin. I forgot her name. Cat'll kill me because Cat loved her, but spoiler as Robin for a time, and then I think it ended with the Damian story. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it ended with the Damian story, but all the stories were really good. I'm glad I got this book physically. I was 50-50 on it. Robin and Joker are probably the only physical books I'm getting. Joker because I really like the Midtown variant, pending if it comes out now. Diamond. So we'll have to wait and see. But I really like this anniversary issue a lot. If you're a Robin fan, if you're a Dick Grayson fan, 90% of this book was Dick Grayson. Oh, there was a Red Hood story also. I did like the Red Hood story where it went back and forth between the past and the present, where it was Bruce's birthday and Jason fixed his father's watch in the past, and he did it again in the present. I thought that was really nice also. So we did get a little bit of each Robin in this book, and I just think it was done really well. He had great art, really good stories. Like I said, if I was a fan of Grayson, maybe I would have enjoyed that one. I'm not, so I really just decided to skip over it. But all the stories in this book were really good. I would definitely recommend it. It was a Dick-heavy book, but to be fair, Dick has been Robin a lot longer than all the other Robin. Well, no, maybe not anymore. Tim was Robin for a very long time also, but Tim got a pretty long story. Is what it is. It was a really good book. Spider-Woman issue #1. Now, I talked about that super secret. Let me show you all the super secret. I got to show you all the super surprise secret variant because I was shocked that I got it, and I'm really happy. But there was a secret variant done at the very last moment, and it's this book right here. I'm sorry, it's in plastic. It's bagged and boarded. It's sealed. But this is the secret variant that you could get. Secret surprise variant, that was what it's called. Secret surprise variant that you could get with Spider-Woman issue #1. I was shocked when I got it. I'm happy I got it. Would I have spent the money people are asking for eBay on it? No, but I'm very happy I got it. I did make stupidly, I did make another order for a regular cover because I did want the regular cover as well. So I am getting another regular cover, but this is the first time I think Marvel's done this. And I was saying this to my friends on Frontline, and I'll say it again tonight. I hope they do more of this. When the physical medium starts coming out again, I really hope they do more of this. I like having a surprise variant for certain books, especially #1s. It doesn't have to be a #1 though, Marvel. Do it anywhere. Just say, hey, buy the regular cover, and you have a chance of getting a surprise variant. That's really cool. It's innovative, and it gets people to want to buy. Is that a new costume or just for the cover? This is just for the cover, Dan. This is just this was a secret surprise variant. I was saying it wrong twice already. The new costume is Yep, there went my books. This is the new costume. That's one of the variants I got. I think this is Ron Lime's cover. Art Germ did a cover. A lot of people did covers. And there went my books. I knew that was going to happen. When you reach, but I have to keep you all informed. So that's the new costume, Dan. That's the new one. This is just a surprise variant, but I love it. It's cool. And if I do end up going to a convention again, if I can get somebody to autograph this, it's going to go right up on autograph wall. But for right now, it's staying right here. And no, I'm not selling it to anybody out there who's like, ooh, are you going to sell it? No. Any book that's in my collection is for myself. If my great-grandchildren want to sell it, or my children or my grandchildren, I went great because I'm hoping that my children at least learn to love comics like I did. If my grandchildren if my children, even whoever, after I'm gone, dead, buried, or burnt, or whatever, when I am no longer on this realm of reality, whatever happens to my comic books is up to my children, grandchildren, whatever, whoever gets them. Looks good, like the red better, but it looks better. There is a story. There's a backstory. Let me tell you about it, Dan. I'm going to tell you about it. And I also reviewed Argo 534. It's the first book. If you want to start, if you want to go back to the beginning after I talk about this. So Spider-Woman is taking up a job being a guard to this young girl who apparently her father has gotten threats that they were going to abduct her or whatnot. So he needed a bodyguard, a guard. So the book starts up with them on a cruise. It's this ritzy family, and they had that ponies. They got the daughter got a car, and everybody's so happy, and it's rich. It's like a ritzy kind of party. And she's just standing there. She has this headache. She's not feeling good, and she's just annoyed being there. But she's like, "But I need the money, I'll just stomach it. I'll stomach being a bodyguard for these kids." And then there's an attack, and Spider-Woman. The rest of the book becomes action. Her fighting against all these soldiers, all these people that are trying to abduct this girl. And she ends up saving the girl in the end. And then we find out that something happens. She gets uber sick, throws up. And it turns out that her throw up is acidic. It's acid. It's literal acid. It's melting away at the floor of the boat. And they're like, "Do you need a doctor?" She's like, "No, I need a nurse." We're going to be seeing Night Nurse for the first time in, I think, a long time, unless it's a book I haven't read that they showed her. Next issue, Night Nurse comes in, and I'm really curious to see what the hell's going on with Spider-Woman. Is this a new power? Is this something new? Is she sick? Like really, really sick? It's crazy. I love this first issue a lot. And now, Dan, there was a backup story on why she took this job as a bodyguard. She's working with I forget who she was working with, the Strike Force. She teams up with them, but money, like after they save the day, they all want to go home. And she's like, "Does anybody have like a $20 bill? I'm a little short." So they lend her money, and her money is really, really short. And she has a baby, she has a boyfriend, and they're out of diapers and this and that. And she needs to start making money. So she ends up taking this job, the job that we saw at the beginning of the issue, to make some extra cash. However, she doesn't want to wear her hero costume, which is the one you like, Dan, the yellow and red, as a bodyguard. So she goes to a tailor who makes her this black costume that we see in the first issue. However, we find out that the material they use for this black costume is not a normal material. Apparently, this shadow group, we don't know who they are yet, gave this woman this fabric to make this costume so that they can track Spider-Woman. Why? What are their plans, and what are they planning to do with Spider-Woman? What more does this costume, can this costume do? Is this the costume? Is this the reason why she got sick? Is it the costume? Really, really plot thickening. I'm very interested. This is a great first issue. I got to say, I do like the art on the covers. So I might pull a Dan here. And because I love the cover art alone, I might end up getting single issues of Spider-Woman. But the story matches the cover. So I like Spider-Woman. I'm going to be continuing the series probably physically. I know issue 2 and 3 I'll probably have to end up getting at Midtown if physicals continues happening. Otherwise, I will be definitely continuing this book a single issue physically for a while. If it starts to fall off, I might switch to trade. But for the first arc, I'll probably stick with the single issues. Now, that's it for Marvel. We're about to go into a new company, AWA Publishing. And they released 4 books this week. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into the books or the company. However, I am going to tell all of you that tomorrow on Comic Frontline, we're going to have a topic video talking about AWA Publishing, talking about their books, and talking about their company. I will say this, and I mentioned this on somewhere. I forget where I mentioned it. I think it was the last review, maybe. No, it was previews. It was during my previews magazine on Friday. AWA, reading their first 4 books, I got a really, really deep vibe. For those of you that have been with this review for a while, way back, before the 100th episode even happened, I did reviews for a comic company called Radical Comics. They sent me their comics as well. And I loved their books. A lot of their books, though, were being written to become movies. And there were some movies, Hercules with The Rock. I forgot that other movie with Tom Cruise. There were several ones that made it, and some didn't, but they were amazing comics. And then there was another company that came out a couple of years back. Y'all will remember the Zombie Company. The only thing, Double something, and I'm sorry, I'm so sorry I can't remember the name of that company. But they released really strong miniseries within the realm of Night of the Living Dead, and I love that. I'm getting the same vibe with AWA Publishing, if not stronger, because AWA Publishing is new, and they're planning to stick around for a while. I had something on my tongue. I'm sorry about that. And they've got some really strong books set up for the future. We talked about that on the previews video. And now we're going to talk about the 4 number ones that came out this week. Starting off with the Resistance issue number 1. Kind of creepy that this book comes out at the same time we're dealing with the coronavirus, because the world is dealing with a virus. Different than the coronavirus, this virus literally, if it's contracted, it turns your immune system against itself. It kills good, the good cells instead of the bad. Basically, this disease melts you from the inside out. And it had a 95% fatality, and you had a 5% chance of surviving, and it was 100% contagious. Scary as hell. Scary as hell. And then all of a sudden, it just stopped. Like the switch. Boom. It stopped. And everyone who was infected got better. Literally, like the snap of a finger, this virus stopped. And it's scary because the way they're talking about it in the book is the way people are talking about the coronavirus. Oh, it was the government. Oh, somebody released this bacteria and wanted to reduce the population on Earth. Oh, this, that, and the other thing. The rumors and everything. Now, in the book, though, the president of the United States wants to set up martial law permanent to prevent something like this ever happening again. Let us pray that that doesn't happen in reality. I doubt it would, but still creepy. And of course, the the chief of the national security doesn't agree, and because he doesn't agree, he goes missing. Surprise, surprise. And we find out that there's a resistance that's been slowly building after what's happened, and apparently, the 5% of people who survive, there's something inside of them, something that possibly gives them powers, maybe. We don't know. But this was an excellent book. I loved it. It was just very creepy that it came out the week it did, where everybody's being put on lockdown because of this virus that we have, not as evil or deadly as the one that was in this book. But wow, the timing, AWA. Good job on the timing. Not really, because I wish we didn't have this virus in reality, but wow. It definitely, reading this book, just it was crazy. It was insane. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with issue 2. Who is this mystery group that wants martial law in America, and why? And who are these other people that they're pointing out? The monster, the loner, the this, the that. They are the resistance. This is going to be an interesting team. I like this book a lot. This is a 5-issue mini. 4 or 5-issue mini. Loving it. Hotell with 2 L's at the end. Anyone who liked Ice Cream Man, anyone who liked plot twists, Tales from the Crypt, this book opens up with the hotel owner talking to you as you're becoming a guest at his hotel. And he says, oh, this hotel, there's some really crazy stories that happen here, like that woman in room 1. And of course, that's the story you're about to hear. And he tells you as the reader, or as the person, who's hearing this story, the story. This woman ends up showing up at the hotel. There's no TVs, no phone reception, no phones, no nothing. It's secluded. It's out in nowhere. And he says, don't go down this path behind the hotel. I have a feeling that's for a future arc, possibly. And, you'll be fine. Just, you're welcome to stay as long as you want. Now, she's on the run because her husband is a abuser, and she's pregnant, and she's scared for her and her baby. So she finally decides, one day to sneak out as the husband goes to work And she drives. She drives for 11 and a half hours, and she just can't drive no more. So that's why she stops at the hotel. So she's got almost 11 hours on her husband. She hopes to fall asleep, rest a bit, and then leave. She does sleep. She wakes up. She has this really vivid dream with her baby, and there's some nudity in the book, and she wakes up bleeding from a part of her body, her chest. She bleeds from her chest. I'll just say it. And she doesn't know why that she's bleeding from her chest. But anyway, you meet a couple of people who are also staying in the hotel, possibly future stories coming there. And we do find out that her husband is chasing after her, because the second night she's there, she has another vivid dream where the baby shows her husband, and he's like, I'm going to protect you, mommy. I'm going to save you from this mean man. And he gets into a car accident. And what happens is it actually really does happen. And then we find out that these dreams aren't like vivid dreams because she's pregnant. There's a demon that every night she sleeps attaches itself to her like a baby. Yeah, that's the twist. So then the third day, she finally says, I got to get out of here. You know, something's wrong. Something's really not right here. And what happens is she can't leave. All of a sudden, she gets super tired. She gets super wiped. And she goes out. Now, the hotel owner also talks about an eclipse. And that's something that happens in other books. And finally, she sees the demon and realizes what the demon is, you know, pretending to be her son is. And in the end, she ends up killing the demon. And that's at the exact same moment the eclipse happens. And then for some reason, her husband got into a car accident right near the hotel. No longer has eyes, and shows up is like, is that you? What are you doing here? You're like, you can't see. She's like, congratulations, it's a boy. And she hands him the demon baby, and that's how the book ends. This is a dark and twisted book. I left out a bunch of details in the middle. This is something to read. I like how AWA, it looks like they're doing a little bit of everything. You got the Resistance, which is a team that's being put together after this big virus hits the world. Hotell is basically your dark, like, Tales from the Crypt book. And then you got Red Border, which is, and Hotell, I think, is a 3 or 4 issue mini. Red Border, which is a 3-issue mini. I don't know. They're anywhere from 3 to 5 issues. Red Border is about this family that, of course, gets this crime lord in trouble. The crime lord now wants to kill them. That's how the book opens up, is them talking to their friends about wanting to jump the border, get away from where they're living, because this crime boss now wants to kill them and tries to, and they escape after killing one of the men who were trying to kill them. And it turns out that the person they killed is the crime lord's nephew. So now, even more, he wants these people dead. They're running for the border. They make friends with somebody who's also trying to get across the border. And you also have this group of people now that are chasing after them to kill them before they get across the border. They get to the border. They get to a point where the bounty hunters are now right in front of their face, or this gang is right in front of their face, and they get saved by this random person on the other side of the border. So they are able to hop the border and get into America. But now this person who's like, you know, you don't want to be here when the police come and see all these dead bodies. Why don't you come with me? And they hop into the truck. And you never do that with a random weird stranger who just basically shoots a bunch of people, takes pictures with them dead, and then to say, hey, you want to come home with me? Come meet my family. They're going to love you. But they do. They do, because they don't want to get caught around the dead bodies. And that's where the book ends. This sounds like it's going to have another twist to it. I have no clue yet, and I'm looking forward to reading this now. Of course, Frontline has reached out to AWA Publishing for press, and I'm really excited. We do have other books. We have future books that are out, and I'm going to be doing this as the books are released on the Dark Avenger Comic Book Review, and I'm only reading them as they come out on the Dark Avenger Comic Book Review. But this is a company, I'm telling you all, let's finish this first. So Red Border's done. Archangel 8 is a book that I feel Micah would like, but I love it as well. And it is about a person, he gets these missions. It's very Punisher-esque, but this person gets missions. Maybe more along the lines of Bloodshot. Maybe. But it opens up with this person who gets these orders to kill someone. And it turns out it's someone that he's been chasing for a while. He goes and looks for information. There's this, and this person's made enemies with another gang in a different place. So he shows up one day at a bar and says, "Look, I'm looking for this person." And the guy's like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." He's like, "Yes, you do. It's your boss. You know where he is." And there's a fight, a little bit of a back and forth verbal fight. And then this woman comes in and she kind of breaks it up a little bit. And he's like, "You know what? Just tell your boss, even though you don't know where he is, he can find me here and here. I'm not looking for trouble. I'm looking to save trouble. But if you bring trouble, I'm going to, deliver trouble back to you." And that's exactly what happens. He sends a task force of his men to go kill this guy, and it doesn't work. He takes them all out one by one, leaving one alive to tell him where the person is. And finally, he kind of says, "Okay, I don't know where he is 100%, but he could be here." And he goes there. And it turns out that the person he's got the contract on got there before him. And it was a gruesome scene. And he left one person alive. And that person said he was beautiful. And you could tell that she's been traumatized. And he said you were going to come. He said you were going to be beautiful. And he said you need to go find this person. Who's that person? You're going to have to read the book to find out. And we get a glimpse of who he's chasing after on the last page. This book is one of my favorites next to The Resistance. This and The Resistance are tied for my two favorites right now. Hotell is really good as well. I love it. Red Border is, I would say, the number 4 of 4. There are other books coming out. We talked about it on previews, but I want to talk about the titles that'll be coming out. So I'm sorry I can't see chat for just a moment. Other books that are going to be coming out are Old Haunts. That's going to be a one-shot. And Year Zero is another book that's coming out. And it's something that I know we're going to be discussing on Frontline tonight. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to read Year Zero, so I'll probably be discussing all the books that have been out already. I like this company a lot. I like the books that they've released so far. Now, I know what everybody's saying. It's just the first issue. You don't know. You got to stick around for a bit. And you're right. I am, and you're right. I get a really good vibe. Axel Alonso is a part of this company. AWA Publishing definitely has caught my eye, caught my interest. And I'm actually debating about getting these books physically as well because the covers look really nice as well. I have not been able to get them yet, but I probably will because I like the books and I definitely want to support AWA Publishing. And I think all of you should give them a look over. If your comic shop gets them, check them out if your comic shop allows you to look at books in your comic shop. If not, check them out. Check out the previews for them. Or take a chance. Take a chance. Order them online. Order 1 or 2 of the books. You're going to be home. We have this virus that's going on right now. And, if you're looking for some new reads, check out AWA Publishing. Check out their number ones. I think there's a book in here for everybody. For me, all 4 books were enjoyable reads. For somebody else, maybe one of the books that I left big details out of all these books. And I did it on purpose. Again, because there's a lot that goes on in each of these books. I gave you the really brief cliff notes on, point A to point B. A lot of stuff happens in the middle. Might be something you want to look into. Again, I really like these 4 issues, and I think if you are looking for something to read in your time at home, check out AWA Publishing. Check out their 4 issue number 1s if your comic shop is still open. And with that, that is it for this comic review. I've been going on for an hour, but I had a lot of books. How many books did we discuss in this episode? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And I did give a briefie on Spider-Gwen or Ghost Spider, so 19 and a half. That's a lot of books. I think I went an hour for 22 books, so we're close. And we actually had a discussion about Diamond, which we're going to be going more into deeper detail when we get on Frontline tonight. So stick around tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, for Comic Book Weekly live on Comic Frontline. We're going to be talking about everything comics, top 5s, news, especially with the virus going around. There's some really big news. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. So definitely check it out on Comic Book Weekly. Thank you all so much for being here. Don't forget to follow me all across social media, Dark Avengers C86, ShootingStarUniverse.com, Dark Avenger Gaming on Twitch. If you like watching games, I'm going to be doing more live streams, like I said, to entertain all of you while everybody's home. Black Knight mentioned about back issues. I'm not doing back issues, but I will be doing possibly some trade reviews. So look forward to that. If we do end up getting previews again, I would love to do a 3-part previews again. I'm hoping we do get previews. I have a couple of video games I'm going to be playing on Dark Avenger Gaming, where Chaos is still coming, so keep an eye out for that. And like I said, shootingstaruniverse.com is where you can find everything, plus some exclusive posts that I'm working on and writing right now. Newsletters. Shooting Star Presses is going to be coming next month. We're getting close to April. There will be an April release where I'm going to have some fun stuff in that. AWE, the Awcast, we have a newsletter for the Awcast. You can check that out on Facebook. We have a group, the Awcast. You can check it out there. That is Aftershock Wrestling Entertainment. We have a newsletter there. Tales from the Around the Campfire is our LEP newsletter that Brent writes. I definitely say go to lastemberpress.com, sign up for the newsletter. Brent makes amazing newsletters each and every week. I love reading them. And yeah, I think I've promoted everything I should right now. Let's hope that AEW still has wrestling, and we'll be doing Aftershock. Aftershock went up yesterday on the new. We have Aftershock on its own channel now, so if you want to find Aftershock, it is Aftershock Wrestling Entertainment. You can find us on YouTube. Take care, everybody. Keep reading, keep collecting, and I'll see you all really soon in the next video.